guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to run an article titled Why Progressive Women Want to Date Men Who Act Like Conservatives. And big shout out to Brent for sending me this article. And guys, what this article goes over, it's going to talk about how a study's been done where, guess what? Even though women may say they want one thing in a man, how they want guys to obviously be more progressive, and obviously because the feminist movement behave in ways that, the feminist movement says they want guys to be, everything being equal, all that bullshit. At the end of the day, these types really are attracted to guys that are obviously more conservative, more traditional, masculine men, even though they say they don't want that. And once again showing that, guess what? At the end of the day, you don't take seriously what women say about pickup, dating, relationships, all that. You do not ask their advice, you do not take their advice. How many of you guys have done that and it hasn't ended well? This is also going to talk about guys who actually have been taking their advice and trying to have that progressive attitude, progressive mindset. And guess what? These guys aren't getting anywhere with women at all, whether these women are progressive types or just your average gal that's kind of in the middle or even more traditional. These progressive guys, it's not going anywhere and they don't get it. And it comes down to a lot of things that, in spite of what women say, they say one thing, but actually they're attracted to another. There's the other issue about opposites attract. You can have, I know a lot of guys that are more conservative guys, but they have girlfriends or wives that are much more liberal. But it's the opposites attract type of thing that draws them to each other. And of course, women like guys that are a challenge. But if you have a woman that's obviously a little more liberal, a little more progressive, and she's with a guy the same exact way, there's no challenge there, right? Because he's just pretty much nodding his head and agreeing with everything she says. Where's the fun there? But the other guy that's more conservative, then there's challenge. Then there's keeping things interesting. But anyhow, I'm going to go more into this article, which is going to show by a study that, guess what, don't take what they say at face value about dating and all that crap. Starts off, my friend Mark, 36, is a catch by many New York City standards. He is good-looking, highly educated, and a talented photographer. He's also a progressive and participates in protests and gives to left-leaning causes. And Mark is looking for love. He wants to get married and have kids. Well, Mark sounds to me like a total, like a guy who lives around here in Massachusetts. I'm from Massachusetts. I live in Massachusetts. I'm not from here. And and you definitely have plenty of left-wing types here, lots of progressives. And a lot of the guys, it's like, you see these guys, you talk to them, and it's like, my God, someone needs to change their diapers because they're always babbling on about some injustice or cause. No joke. This is one of the reasons I'm getting out of here in a couple of years. Anyhow, in a liberal city like New York, swimming with single women wishing they weren't, one could assume Mark wouldn't have a problem finding a mate. And while he dates and recently had a couple of short-lived relationships, Mark remains single. He's trying to understand why. Well, I can tell him why, because he's acting like these idiotic, ultra-liberal, progressive types that's embracing the feminist movement, and you're going to see a little bit more about that, and it's turning women off, because they want a real man, a masculine man that has traditional values and all that. Now, doesn't mean they're all that way, but really the real hardcore feminist types, well, they pretty much aren't attracted to men. You get my point on that anyway. But I'm talking about others. They don't want that kiss-ass behavior. It turns them off. The guy, he's quoted as saying, I'm really open-minded and cool about gender stuff on dates, but I always feel like I'm walking on eggshells, Mark told me. If I pay for dinner, it signals I don't value my date as much as my equal, so I'm super casual about it all. If she wants to pay or split the bill or whatever, that's fine with me. Right here he says, I'm really open-minded and cool about all the gender stuff on dates, but I always feel like I'm walking on eggshells. While he's the guy that's making it awkward. That's why, and I guarantee you his date, these women, can sense that. And all this whole equality bullshit, turns him off. Look how this brainwashing has impacted this guy. That's what I've been telling you all the time with the feminist movement, what the impact it's had on society. You got more guys acting like women and more women acting like men. It turns both of them off. Or you get these guys that feel like they have to act this way, and then they're wondering why women are turned off by their behavior. I told Mark that despite his best intentions, his egalitarian dating style could be the problem that's holding him back. While some women balk at any hint at traditional male gender behavior, more lament the loss of chivalry. I'm one of them. This is obviously written by a woman. I find it attractive when a man plans our first few dates and knowingly walks curbside when we're together. It signals he wants to protect me from passing traffic or errant puddle splashes. She said, when I was a kid, my mom told me to always walk curbside, but I assume my generation of women would think it's too old-fashioned. Mark told me, now I'm really confused. So this guy, he's just confused. He's like, wait a minute, I was told I have to act this way and everything's equal and all that, and so it's screwing him over. Perfect example. This is why I talk about the things I do to help guys out in many areas, but also if guys do want to do relationships, they learn and they know to act like a masculine man, not one of these bitches that the feminist movement is trying to mold guys to be. Because guess what? It turns women off. He says, goes on, the female desire to feel protected and looked after is built into our DNA, says evolutionary psychologist Jeffrey Miller, a professor at the University of New Mexico and author of several books including The Mating Mind. He says it's a mismatch between what progressive women say they want and what they actually respond to. Ding, 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 I've been saying it all along. Women's instinctive mate preferences have evolved for hundreds of thousands of years for guys who are more competent, strong, good providers, good protectors, and happy with a sexual division of labor. That he added, women want decisive men who are also compassionate and thoughtful. So they want a guy that can protect them, that's going to lead, that's going to take charge and all that. Okay, that's what they're drawn to and attracted to. But these guys have been so brainwashed by how things are today, they do the opposite and it turns the women off. Okay, sure, you're going to have masculine women out there, the feminist types, that they want to do all the leading and they want to run the relationship. Avoid those types like the plague. But there are also plenty of women out there that may say they agree with feminism about equality, but they don't get what it's really doing. But when they meet a guy that actually acts like he thinks he's supposed to behave in terms of letting her lead and all that, turns them off. A 2018 study from Iowa State University backs this up, reporting that progressive women prefer men who demonstrate more traditional dating behaviors. More progressive women prefer this. So they say one thing, but they actually are attracted to another. The women found these men to be more attractive because they signal a willingness to invest by being protective, committed, and by providing resources. Ha ha. Gwen Stefani presumably has no doubt of these findings. On July 3rd, the pop star who was raised in Blue State, California, wed country and western star Blake Shelton, a native of Red State, Oklahoma, who is pro-gun and a famous gentleman. Shelton even asked Stefani's father for his blessing before proposing in the Catholic wedding chapel he built for his bride. When asked what she loves about her betrothed, Stefani gushed, "He's full of love and generosity, so you feel safe. You can lean on him and trust him." So obviously she said she's from California, and it sounds like obviously here she's obviously very liberal. I don't know how liberal, but this guy's obviously a very conservative guy, and yet she's attracted to him. She's obviously likes that he takes charge. He acts like a protector. He opposites attract, and there's that challenge. There you go. My friend Rock, 44, exemplifies the type of old school man. His girlfriend, 36, is a typical New York City progressive feminist. He said, before me, she dated liberal artists and creatives. I work in corporate America, and I'm much more conservative and methodical. I pay for stuff, open doors, and she likes that I walk on her right side because she has a mild case of scoliosis, he added. The couple has been together for 5 years. So this guy's more conservative, and this woman's more liberal, and obviously they said a progressive and an feminist. And I don't know why he'd be dating her, but whatever, it is what it is. And yet she likes this conservative guy that's still, even though they say I want everything to be 50-50 and equal, this guy's still leading. He's still taking charge. He's still being protective. He's acting like a masculine man. And that's what they want, in spite of what they say, or at least what most of them say. Carrie, 45, is a fundraising executive who dated a man in 2018 with similar left-leaning values and beliefs. But before long, his egalitarian dating attitude and lack of initiative to plan dates led to a breakup. She says, at work, I'm the boss. I have to run the show, be the cheerleader, and have tough conversations. I make decisions all day long. At the end of the day, I want my guy to say, babe, I got this. Ding, ding, ding. I've been saying this shit since day one. Right there. They want a guy that leads, a guy that takes charge. But nice guys, on the whole nice guy thing, your typical nice guy is going to do what he thinks she wants him to do versus what he instinctively should do. Take charge, make her feel safe, protective, all that stuff. And notice this guy said, babe, I got this. Babe to a progressive feminist. But he says it in a way that he doesn't give a crap, and look at the impact it has. Carrie's next boyfriend was a conservative who works in finance. Without fail, he would pick up the place, set the time, and then ask if this plan worked for me. She said, "It felt great to know he was taking care of it all." The guy was taking care of business. He was making the plans, taking care of everything, so she can just hang back, look pretty and hot, and there you go. She says, "I appreciate a man who opens the door for me, picks up the check. This makes me feel safe. Like I can count on him for other things," Carrie said, adding, "I'm grateful when a man steps up and acts like a man. It makes me feel more feminine." Right. When men act masculine, women can feel safe and go into their feminine. But when a guy acts feminine and unsure and all these type of feminine qualities, the woman starts going into her masculine side, and they don't want to be in that way. They want to feel feminine. It's natural. The only types that actually want to be masculine are usually the types that are masculine and have some serious issues and are typical far left wing nut job feminists, which I talk about in a lot of articles. When Carrie and her boyfriend broke up for reasons outside political views, she remains a feminist who will only date conservative men. How about that? Although she draws a line at far-right conspiracy theorists, while she met her most recent ex on a plane, she's now using dating apps to find her next love and said she's more likely to swipe right on profiles of men who say they prefer more traditional dating behaviors. It's a good indicator that there's a shared mindset, Carrie said. Carrie's preference for conservative men come as no surprise to Professor Miller. He says this is a time-tested set of behaviors, strategies, and cultural norms that have lasted for centuries because they help find and keep good mates. He said, and everybody knows this. Women in their hearts know this, and men don't take them at their word. Right. Don't take them at their word, okay, because they're going to say one thing but actually mean another or be attracted to another. Don't ask women advice about women. I can't not stress this enough for you guys that watch me that do dating and relationships. Okay, I know a lot of you guys watch me that you're done, no more dating, that's it, you've had enough, that's your business, that's fine. But plenty of you guys also watch me for advice to help you out. It ends saying, now my friend Mark is planning to stop making the same mistakes. He told me he's going to start dating like conservative and hopefully find his ideal progressive wife soon. Well, good for this guy. He's obviously learning, to stop acting like one of these whiny progressive guys or just a pain in the ass. But the question is that who he really is? Because if he's going to just fake it, these girls are going to figure it out pretty quickly because women can just see bullshit a mile away. But anyhow, guys, this goes to show you that, in spite of what they say, what has been built in our DNA for hundreds of thousands of years isn't going away over just 40 years of this whole feminist thing that's going on. It's a whole bunch of nonsense, and we see all the damage that's been going on because of it. At the end of the day, women are attracted to what they're drawn to, in spite of what they may say, and have been brainwashed by the media and television and all that shit. But anyhow, guys, big storm is coming in, so I'm going to wrap this up. So that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.